Of all tyrannies, a tyranny exercised for the good of its victims may be the most oppressive. It may be better to live under robber barons than under moral busybodies. The robber baron's cruelty may sometimes sleep. His cupidity may at some point be satiated. But those who torment us for our own good will torment us without end, for they do so with the approval of their own conscience. That was said by C.S. Lewis. Welcome to Surviving the Matrix. My name is Maxwell Egan. I will be your host for the next hour, and it's a pleasure to be with you again. Now, everything that happens within the construct of our society happens for a reason. Sure, there are the little random events of everyday life that simply occur, but on a grander scale and in regard to world events, in regards to the really big things that happen on a global scale, and even on a national scale, the fact is that all the world is a stage, and all is done by design. Now, in the last few shows, I've been addressing some of the bad stuff that's been happening around us, and some of the systems of control that are constantly used against the people. So we'll try to get things on a bit more of a positive note today and tackle the question of how we deal with all this stuff. How do we change this into a better reality? Now, we have a lot of problems with our societies, folks. There's absolutely no denying the fact of this. It's just right there in your face. And we also have a great many people who are speaking out and attempting to do things to address these issues, and are doing things on a variety of levels. But many people, as wonderful as these people are and as noble as their intentions may be, many of these people are caught up with one particular issue they are tackling. They understand the importance of the particular problem that they are involved in, but they also view it as being unique to itself, and so they attempt to strike out at the head of that particular problem. And there are a lot of these problems, and there's a lot of different groups attempting to deal with them. We have groups addressing environmental issues, the harvesting of whales, indigenous and cultural issues, the atrocities being carried out in Gaza, deforestation, environmental issues, the humanitarian issues all over Africa, racial issues, the corrupt Federal Reserve banking system, homelessness, the fake war on terror, all sorts of things. I mean, honestly, the list of problems that we are faced with as a species is almost endless. It truly is almost endless. Now, all of these problems are serious issues within themselves. There's absolutely no doubt about that. And all of these things most certainly need to be addressed. And it's good that we have people who are willing to speak out and to at least do something to address them. But what many of the people who are attempting to address all of these issues on an individual level often fail to see is that all of these problems, as important as each of them may be, all of them are simply symptoms, and that all of these symptoms, in fact, have a common cause. All of these problems exist due to one much larger problem that encompasses all of these lesser symptoms. And when you investigate, you clearly see that the actual root cause of all of these lesser problems is corruption that exists at the very highest levels of our societies. It is corruption that exists at the very highest levels of our government and of our economic systems. And both of these systems are, again, in fact, controlled by the same hand. And that is where the real problem lies. And that is where attention needs to be focused, because it's only by addressing this root cause of all the problems that we are ever going to be able to fix the symptoms. It's only by addressing this root cause that we are ever going to be able to realistically bring about any truly effective and truly lasting change. And folks, the way to address these issues truly is simple. People simply need to understand that it's all about freedom of choice. It's all about free will. It is we, the people, who enforce all of this crap that is forced upon us. We fight the wars, we serve the corporations, we police ourselves, and we, the people, pay the price for doing so. We need to stop doing this. We need to understand that the people, we the people, have the power to effect change. We need to understand the power that we the people do have to effect this change. We really do. That's the thing. People have been taught to believe that they're powerless, but the absolute opposite is true. Now, key to gaining an understanding of this power and key to realizing this power and coming into this power is to connect with the people around you, to understand that there's no division. Forget all the race, forget all the class, forget who's got more trinkets than the other, and connect with the people. You're all people, you're all very much each other. Sure, you've got completely different personalities, but on a more basic level, you're each other. The essence of each of you is the same. It is the division that is promoted between people, this race division, class division, social division, religious division, sport, whatever it is that divides you from other people, get over it. It's not real. You're all the same. All of the people who are working on particular problems, which I referred to earlier as symptoms, each one of the people who is the head of an organization working on one of these symptoms needs to also put aside their ego and understand that a lot of it is ego. They need to put aside this ego and embrace the other organizations around them that are addressing their particular symptoms. And they need to unite as one movement in order to address the root cause of all the symptoms they are personally dealing with. Because the only reason that they don't do this, as I said, is ego. But what it is false ego, manufacturing a false threat. This is a lot of what causes division in all of our different aspects of society, whether it's class division or race division or social division or political division. It's false ego manufacturing false threats. That's what it all is. And this has been very cleverly ingrained into our psyche for whatever reason and by whatever force. It's there. This is something that we need to remove from our psyche in order to establish this connection we have to each other, because it is by establishing this connection that we can come into our power. And it's time to do this, folks, and I've said this to you before, I'm sure, but it is really, truly time for the human race to take a stand for the well-being of our world. And to be real, this stand, this commitment, must come from our conscience. It must come from the deepest part of ourselves. There are a myriad of things that you can do to offset the global situation and to become a positive force. And key to this is strengthening yourself and strengthening others around you. I mean, many people still write to me and they express feelings of hopelessness, but many say that I've changed a lot of these feelings of hopelessness in them, and they see a much more positive way of viewing things. And that's what I'm trying to do, because if you do feel hopeless in the face of all this, it's really important to remember that it is the intention of the powers that be to make you feel hopeless and helpless and impotent in the face of all of this. So do not allow yourself to have these feelings. Find your strength by taking action. And there is a great deal that you can do. But key to it, key to the whole thing, is having faith in yourself and centering yourself in a positive emotional state. Understanding the nature of energy, as I've often said on almost every show. Two polarities, folks. Two polarities of energy make up all of reality. One is love and one is fear. So if you're not in a state of love, then what are you in? It's really that simple to look at it. But preparation for everything that we need to achieve really must begin with awareness and education. It's imperative that you have an understanding of what you are dealing with, and that's what I've been trying to do with these shows. This is why I mentioned stuff like numerology last week. I got a little bit of flack for doing that, but I just want people to see all of the mechanisms that are in place. And whether you believe in numerology or not, I mean, whether I believe in it or not, it's irrelevant. The fact is that the people who are controlling the world, they believe in it, and they use it all the time. And when you begin to read the signs and read this stuff, you can pretty well predict what they're going to do and when they're going to do it, and you can see that they leave their signature on everything that they do. This is the thing, folks. See, this is how they get us to comply with what they're doing, to passively agree with what they're doing, to passively consent with what they're doing. Because failure to speak out against something is to passively consent to that event taking place.